I'm about to show you the secrets to a tool that caused trillions of dollars worth of carnage, Claude COWORK. It's not a chatbot, it's not for writing and copying, pasting text. This requires no coding, no technical skills. It's an agentic tool that actually does work for you. You give it a task, you point it at files on your computer, and it gets it done. Maybe it creates a spreadsheet. Maybe it generates a report from the data that you have in those files. So here we are inside of Claude COWORK, and you'll see the interface looks very similar to Claude in general. The difference is this is agentic, so it's actually going to take actions on your behalf. And so what I did was I created several different documents, several different folders with synthetic information inside of them so I can show you how this tool works. And very quickly, I want to show you what those documents, folders, and files actually look like. So these are the folders, files, and documents that I created to walk you through this example. This is, we have 5 different demos that we're gonna run through in this video. This is demo 1. Get a look at how messy this is and just how overwhelming this is. I don't know about you, but when I see something messy like this, I just tune out. I don't want anything to do with it. Moving on to the next one, we have a messy CSV file that we wanna clean. The next one, we have a research report, and we have different types of files, CSV files, text files, markdown files, etc. Demo number 4 is we have a presentation that we need to build in Claude COWORK. And demo number 5 is we have different types of tasks that we want to run in parallel. So these all have different use cases, but I think that this is going to show you the full scope of how Claude COWORK works and how you can actually get the most out of it. So we are going to work with folder number 1 first. And so the prompt that I'm going to put in is organize everything in this folder, create subfolders by file type and month, rename files to be more descriptive based on their content, do not delete anything. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go in and I'm gonna choose the folder with the data. I'm calling it YouTube data because this is a YouTube video. And we're gonna work in the messy downloads folder. Once again, you can see the examples of all the file types in here and just how chaotic and just unstructured it actually is. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up, and then we're gonna let Claude COWORK go to work. And what you'll see is initially what's going to happen is it's going to start thinking, and it's going to start kind of walking you through its thought process. So the first thing it's going to do is look at the files in there. Now let me read the contents of each file to understand what they contain so I can give them descriptive names. It's going to read all of those text files and it's going to run through there. It's going to show the different files in the top right-hand corner that it's working with. And so you can kind of follow along as Claude COWORK is actually doing all of this work on your computer. Now, I'm going to briefly pause this video while it works through this. These tasks will take anywhere from 60 seconds to 10 minutes, just depending on the scope and complexity. And I'll unpause this as soon as it's done. Now, while Claude is working in the background, why is this important? Why does COWORK matter? What's different from it than traditional LLMs? The difference is, instead of you having to actually think of something, go do it, get it done, taking time, now you can simply prompt it into being done. And if you extrapolate this out, you can see where this is going, right? We're talking full teams with agents that are running the majority of tasks. If these agents are able to parse all of my data and they can organize it appropriately, if they can create tasks in parallel and do multiple things at once with different types of data inside of a folder, if they can create presentations and PowerPoints out of the data that I have sitting there, the work that I have to do is transforming from having to just hammer away at a PowerPoint or organize just kind of things that are not really needle moving but important to work that is I can prompt on the menial task, and I can basically focus on the actual needle moving activity. So not only is this going to free up a tremendous amount of time, but it's going to free up a lot of mental bandwidth too. Just little tedious things that you don't want to do, you no longer have to do because of Claude COWORK. So let's check back in on Claude and let's see how it's doing. So, okay, we got some progress here. Okay, so I asked it to organize everything. It says, let me start by looking at what's in your folder. Now let me read the contents of each file to understand what they contain so I can give them descriptive names. Good. I've read all 26 files. Most content dates to October 2025 with a couple of undated items. You can basically see its thinking process. All files moved. Let me clean up any empty, undated folders. All 26 files accounted for. All done. Here is your file structure. And you can see the way that they labeled it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the previous version so that we can look and see what we had there. That's the wrong tool, Google Chrome. Okay, great. So yeah, this was what the original file looks like, okay? So it was messy, there's documents everywhere, it's ugly. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to pull a screenshot of what it looks like. This is unbelievable. Okay, so the way that it organized this, I just wouldn't have been able to do this near as well. There's literally no way. It's incredibly impressive. Okay, so just kind of breaking this down and looking at it. This is what we had before. This is what we have now. Look how much more organized and clean this is. I mean, it's literally a night and day difference. If we keep going, I could make an example out of all these, but basically each of these, you click into them, they're incredibly organized, incredibly structured. They're labeled correctly. Now it's easy for me to navigate and easy for me to get to. To do this myself, I mean, it would minimum of 30 minutes it probably would have taken. So that's great, but let's check back in on Claude and see some of the other tasks that it's running to get an understanding of, is it still able to move the needle? Is it still able to actually get the work done? So let me drag this in here. We'll close the sidebar so we can get a big view. All right, so this one, I said, read all files in this folder and produce a professional report as a Word document, including an executive summary, key findings, blah, blah, blah. You can see in the top right-hand corner the different things that I asked it to report, all different types of documents from markdown files to CSV files to text files. And then it starts going to work. Good, it's installed. Validation errors. It came across some errors. It fixed the errors. Now it says the document looks great. The report synthesizes all 5 source files into a structured document with a title page, table of contents, executive summary, etc. So when I click on that, I'll get myself out of the way here as this loads. What we should see here is a document that is essentially well organized and structured in the way that we want it. So here it is. We go look through it. Surely, yep, looking good. Looking a lot better than it was before, I'll tell you that. So here's another example of taking all this data and essentially turning it into an organized document structure. Now let's keep going because there's a couple other ones that I wanted to do. So in this example, I have run these 3 tasks in parallel, from sales data, regional CSV to summary spreadsheet, from a client meeting notes, from the 3 competitor research files, basically just throwing a bunch of different files at it, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. It says, I'll get started right away. Let me check the available files and read the relevant scale documentation, then run all 3 tasks in parallel. So it just breaks down essentially how it's going to go about the work, and then it says all 3 tasks are done and verified. Here's what was created. So as an example, the first thing I asked was, run these 3 tasks in parallel. Create a spreadsheet summary with totals by region and by month. So let's see what we got here. Allow this. And then let me refresh this. All right, so just checking in on the before and after of the parallel task. We have what was before, a bunch of basically text and meeting notes. Now what we have is documents, CSV files, and spreadsheets according to the task that we asked it to do. So it labeled it correctly, it created the new types of files, and to me, this is incredibly impressive. All right, so we have another task here. Using the notes and data in this folder, create a 12-slide quarterly business review presentation as a PowerPoint file. Follow the guidance style and speaker text notes, 1 headline insight per page, just basically giving it some details about how we want to actually build these presentations out. And so you'll see it essentially reads the skills, it looks at the data, it builds it into a presentation. I'll apply all the fixes now. The key issues are blank, blank, blank. Now it fixes it on its own, so it identifies issues, fixes the issues on its own, continues to just iterate, fix, rebuild slides, and you can see it's literally working through all of this. And then at the end, what we have is a presentation, and it says the exact slides, what's in them. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, guys, so this is what we have. And keep in mind, this is from literally the files that it was working with was a text file, a PDF file, just basically a CSV file. And that's pretty much it, actually. Now, this is insane. I mean, look what it created from those files. It's got basically everything. I mean, it looks amazing. It looks beautiful. It's well crafted. It basically extrapolated all this info and created graphics for each of them and created this beautiful presentation. So you can imagine the power of a tool like this. As long as you have the data in your computer, Claude COWORK can help you churn out some incredible, incredible work. I mean, to me, if you had shown me this a year ago, my jaw would have been on the floor. It's absolutely insane how far we've come. Now, we still have a couple more examples to walk through. So let's go ahead and see what Claude is up to and if it has finished the rest of its work. So we jump back into Claude here. Read all 5 files in this folder and produce a professional report as a Word document. Include executive summary, key findings, and I mean, yeah, pretty straightforward here. This one's a pretty easy one. It's basically just extracting the data and turning it into a file. Probably don't need to dive into that too much. Here's the other one that I wanted to do. So clean up the raw CSV in this folder. Standardize all dates, telling it exactly how we want the dates, format, fix obvious company name typos, remove duplicate rows, etc. And just giving it as much detail as possible. As you probably know, the art of using AI is the art of communication. You need to learn how to communicate and prompt well. You prompt almost like you're working with an assistant, someone that is new to the business, doesn't know everything, and you have to over explain. If you can prompt like that, you can get really good results. So, basically you can see here, it sees all 61 rows of messy data. Let me set up the to-do list and get to work. Now let me build the full Python script. This data has several issues to fix: inconsistent date formats, company name typos, missing categories, duplicates, dollar signs, comma inconsistencies, and amounts. CSV has, the CSV fields with comment inside, quotes that are tripping up the parser. So it's recognizing errors as it goes. And then it's going to say, hey, this is what we fixed. This is what we didn't fix. Probably going to have to open this outside of Claude. Yeah, a lot of times with documents like this, you'll have to open it outside of Claude. So let me just pull that up and I'll put it into our document. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. I mean, this is unbelievable. From the data that it had to turn it into this, I mean, it would have taken me forever to actually do this. You can see it's color-coded the amounts. It has the payment method. It has the vendors with the correct spelling. It has the dates labeled exactly as I want it to. And it also even has the different notes for each expense. So just again, another insane example. I mean, if we just go back to the top and just look at this, from this messy folder to organized and clean and streamlined, from messy data to spreadsheets, and so on and so forth, PowerPoints, etc. Guys, the future of work is agentic solutions. And if this video doesn't show you a glimpse, and by the way, this is like the Atari version of AI agents, because, I mean, basically 2025 was the first year for AI agents, but really 2026 is the real first year for AI agents, the year where it actually became tangible and people are using it. So this channel is fully dedicated to helping people that might not be technical understand artificial intelligence, whether you're a business owner, you just want to do better in your job, or you're looking to improve your life. Please subscribe, leave a like, and I'm working on some new videos that are going to be transformative in the way that you do your work and the way your team does their work. So in the meantime, I have some other AI videos that are going to help you get set up and rocking and rolling very quickly. Be sure to click one of those, and I'll see you there.